Welcome to Camper Van Conversion in bite-sized chunks. If you happen to have come across this page through some random link, you might want to click on the link in the top right hand corner to take you back to the introduction to tell you a little bit more about these videos and how you can get the best out of them. So what can I tell you about space heating, warming your van up? Well, to be frank, maybe not a massive amount, because to date we haven't put any space heating in our van. That's fixed space heating. We have of course got 240 electric hookup, and where we can hook up, and we need to, we've got this tiny little fan heater that we can plug in. You can see it here. You can see how small it is compared to the size of my trainers. And we've used that once in anger. Just before Christmas we went down to see some friends in Corfe who had rented this small cottage for the holiday period, and we parked up outside. The weather forecast said it was -3. The little temperature sensor on my van said it was -5 because it's a cold metal surface, and we just heated the van with the convector heater and we were absolutely toasty. In fact, it was too hot. It's got a 2 kilowatt and a 1 kilowatt setting. We turned it down to 1 kilowatt, still too hot, so then I adjusted the thermostat down so it's clicking in and out. And we were probably kicking out, I don't know, 600, maybe 700 watts maximum, and it was fantastic. We were toasty. Of course, that's where the installation's paid off. You've seen from the previous chapters how diligent I've been on insulating all around the van, insulating the floor, and of course we've got those thermal blinds around the cab. So whilst I'm in the comfort of my own home now, my central heating's failed. So I was probably more toasty in the van at -5 in Corfe, Dorset, than I am right now in my own home. But we have looked at, I've taken the view that we may want to do it in the future, and when I designed the van, we kept provision. Well, the reason we haven't done it is because the reality is we can't justify the expense at the moment. These bits of kit, they're around about 500 or 600 quid. So there's two big names that come to mind. One I'm going to struggle pronouncing. It's Eberspacher, and they fire off a diesel, so they hook into your diesel supply from your van, and they're about this big, and they kick out about 2 kilowatts for the smaller version. They get bigger models, of course, but you just don't need anything for the camper. And then there's Propex as well, and they do a unit that runs off of your LPG supply. But as I said, they're about 500 or 600 quid, and we just couldn't justify it on the basis of our anticipated winter running. Now, I went to a music festival when was that? That was in May or April, beginning of the year, and it was a bit chilly still then, and I was fine. I put on some thermals, and once I was in bed I was snug as a bug in a rug, because it is a very insulated van. So we just can't justify it. I remember I made a cup of tea, boiled the kettle, and that kicked out so much heat from the hob that the van was reasonably warm to start with. Took the chill off, and once I was in bed I was fine. Now, you should not use your hobs as continual heating because it's using up oxygen. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to do health and safety nonsense, but that's obvious. But of course, your van will be able to deal with some an amount just to take a kettle being boiled, so that's fine. If you are going to do a lot of winter camping and you think you might be doing camping away from places where there's a hookup, you can get combined water heater and space heater units. Ours is just a water heater unit, so you might want to look at that. Or you might want to do as we've done, is just put a space provision in to fit a unit later on if you find yourself doing more winter camping. So on our van, we may remember on design, we've got this cupboard below the fridge. The top part of the cupboard is the litter bin on a pull-out shelf. Underneath I've got quite a bit for where we keep shoes and everything, and I could take half that out to put in a little Propex heater, for example. I have got an idea. I'm going to have a play in the sun, because I've got in my workshop this little tiny radiator, the sort of thing you'd have in your central heating system for a small, I don't know, loo, downstairs loo or something. And of course we've got a gas water heater. And I'm thinking, could there be a system where when you, on the odd time you want to use this, you bring this in, stick it in your van and just plug it into a supply that would slowly circulate hot water around the system. It'd have to be recirculating, and it'd have to be very slow because you need it to be plenty of time in the radiator to dissipate its heat. And I'm going to have a play, because in my mind there should be something there. But the fact there's not such a system on the market makes me think maybe that idea is a heap of crap. But who knows? I'm going to have a go. So sorry I can't give you any direct experience with fitting space heaters into the van, but I just wanted to share with you the ideas I'd had and thinking around it. But if you want to go camping in England and in the winter, maybe you want to look for a site with 240 hookup. Okay, space heating, have made a bit of a change there. I've now fitted some heating because I was tending to go out late in the year, and what I've done is I've fitted a Chinese diesel heater, which is basically a copy of a German Eberspacher design, but far cheaper. And what I'm going to do, in case you're interested in doing this, I'm going to post the Facebook group link, because there is a Facebook group link. Because the issue with these things, they're really cheap. Mine costs 130 quid. I've put it under the seat, under the front passenger swivel seat, and it kicks out loads of heat. Mine's a 2 kilowatt. Most of them are around a 5 kilowatts, but I needed a 2 kilowatt to get under there. But it's more than I need. It's absolutely more than I need. Really cheap to run. You run them off of either kerosene in a separate tank, or you can actually tap into your diesel tank. The downside is you need to be able to fit them and be reasonably competent at fitting them. Now, it's not rocket science, and this Facebook group will help you along those lines. But there's no dealer support like there is for, say, an Eberspacher or a Planar. Planar is actually a copy of a Russian thing, but you know, at least there's support in the UK for that. And there's a bunch of videos around. I mean, basically the outturn of conclusion en masse from the community is the diesel heaters themselves are great. They are good quality, no problem about that, but you do need to be able to install them. But well, like a lot of Chinese stuff, it's let down on small things. So the box shippers, they buy these heaters and they package them up with the silencer and the pipe and that sort of thing. Some of that might be a bit crap, and of course the instructions are rubbish. But you'll get all the answers you need on the Facebook group. So if you're going to put one of those in, I would thoroughly suggest you join the group. Here's the link here, and they'll help you with everything you need. In fact, I've got a few videos on there on how to drive the controllers and that sort of thing as well. So that is the main difference, okay? I've now got heat in my van. It's fantastic.